10 years after my brain injury, I know what real damage feels like. I've been in hospital beds, I've gone through scans, rehabilitation, months where my brain simply didn't work the way it used to. So let me say something clearly. Physical injuries are real. Broken bones are real. Surgery is real. Pain is real. But during my recovery, I learned something that changed how I understand the body. Something most people are never taught. Your brain doesn't just detect damage, it also regulates how strongly signals in the body are expressed. Signals like pain, tension, fatigue. And sometimes, after trauma, illness, or long periods of stress, those signals can stay turned up, even when the original danger is gone. There's a word connected to this that many people misunderstand: psychosomatic. When people hear that word, they often think, so you're saying it's all in my head. But that's not what it means. Psychosomatic simply means that mental processes and physical processes are connected through the same biological systems: your nervous system, your hormones, your immune system. Your brain is constantly interpreting signals from the body and adjusting how strongly those signals are expressed. This isn't philosophy, it's physiology. Think about it. Embarrassment can make your face turn red. Fear can make your heart race. Stress can tighten your stomach. No one thinks those reactions are imaginary. They are physical responses controlled by the nervous system. I remember a conversation I had with someone. They said something like, "After everything you've been through, you'd think you would be less sensitive by now." And then they compared it to someone in a wheelchair. They said, "Those are real problems, and that person never complains." It wasn't said in a mean way. It wasn't meant to put me down. It was simply confusion. And honestly, that kind of comment is surprisingly hard to respond to. Because if you start explaining too much, it sounds like you're defending yourself. So like many other times, I just let it pass. Not because the question was stupid, but because the answer isn't simple. And especially when your speech and thoughts don't flow the way they used to. The nervous system doesn't work the way most of us intuitively think it does. Sometimes the body becomes stronger after stress, but sometimes the system becomes more sensitive, more protective, more alert. And that sensitivity isn't weakness, it's biology. If this perspective already makes you look at your body a little differently, drop a like. It helps more people discover this conversation. But where did this idea actually come from? The term psychosomatic started being used in medicine in the early 1900s. Doctors noticed something strange. Some patients had very real physical symptoms: pain, stomach problems, fatigue. But tests didn't always show a clear structural problem. At first, the explanation wasn't very good. Some doctors simply assumed the symptoms were psychological, almost like the body was imagining the illness. Today, we know that explanation was too simplistic. Modern research shows that the brain, nervous system, hormones, and immune system are constantly communicating. Your brain doesn't just detect injury, it also predicts danger. It adjusts muscle tension, inflammation, heart rate, digestion, and pain sensitivity. So symptoms are not just about tissue damage. They are also about how the nervous system is regulating the body. After my injury, I became obsessed with damage. I constantly scanned my body. Head pressure? Something must be wrong. Jaw tight? Structural problem. Neck stiff? Something mechanical. Hip pain? Must be an injury. But what I didn't understand was that my nervous system had changed. It wasn't weak, it was protective. After trauma, the brain can become more sensitive, more alert, more ready to detect danger. It's like the alarm system gets turned up. And when the alarm system is sensitive, even normal stress can trigger strong signals in the body. If you're still with me and this topic interests you, drop a like again. It really helps this video reach people who might need it. One of the most important things I've learned over the last 10 years is that recovery is not just about tissue. It's also about how the nervous system responds to load. You can push the body. You should push the body. But don't be surprised if the body sometimes reacts in ways you didn't expect. You push your legs, and suddenly your neck hurts. You train hard, and the next day your head feels strange. You stress the system, and symptoms show up somewhere completely different. I've experienced that many times over the last decade. And it doesn't always mean something is broken. Sometimes it means the system was pushed beyond what it currently tolerates. So how do you help the nervous system not overreact? Here are 6 things that have helped me. And I want to say something before we start. The last one might actually be the most important. It took me years to understand that. First, build capacity gradually. Instead of going from 0 to maximum, increase load step by step. The nervous system learns through exposure. Second, don't panic when symptoms appear. Signals don't always mean damage. Sometimes they mean the system is adjusting. Third, balance stress and recovery. Training, work, and mental pressure all load the same nervous system. Recovery is not optional. Fourth, create signals of safety. Slow breathing, walking, time in nature, good sleep, connection with other people. These things tell the nervous system that it can relax. Fifth, be patient with the process. The nervous system adapts slowly, sometimes slower than muscles, sometimes slower than motivation, but it does adapt. Sixth, pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Your body is always listening. If every signal is met with thoughts like, "My body is useless," try replacing it with something like, "My body is trying its best all the time." If the thought appears, "I hate this body," pause and shift it to, "I love my body, and it's doing everything it can to keep me going." And if your mind goes to, "Nothing works," remind yourself, something is always improving, even if it's small. Because your nervous system is constantly learning from the signals you give it. When you acknowledge progress, even small progress, the system learns something different. Maybe you went to the gym even though your body resisted. Maybe you didn't train at all, but you still showed up. Maybe today you only managed to get out of bed and sit up a few times. That still counts. Your nervous system learns through experience, and sometimes the most powerful signal you can send your body is simply this: "My body is learning." My brain injury forced me to learn something I probably would never have questioned otherwise. Your body isn't your enemy, it's your protector. And sometimes the symptoms we try to eliminate are signals asking for regulation, not resistance. So the next time your body reacts, instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" try asking, "What is my system trying to protect me from?" That question alone might open a door you didn't know existed. If you want to explore recovery, the brain, training, and how we can actually influence our nervous system, subscribe. We're just getting started. Stay curious.